Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Jordan LaFay. Today I'm actually going to be doing a different video. Today I'm going to be talking about why I'm no longer a student athlete. This has been it's been a huge part of my life, and it's a personal story, but I wanted to share my experience and my thoughts. And you know, I know there's people out there that have been through my shoes, and I'm sure they can relate to this. So I wanted to just share my testimony. And so yeah, it's gonna be a different video. It's emotional. I mean, it was very hard for me, so hopefully I don't get emotional. But yeah, so if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe. And also in the comments below, if you relate to me in any way with this story that I'm about to tell you, please share your thoughts, your opinions, anything. Feel free. So yeah, let's get on to this video. Okay, so for one, a little bit about me. For one, I've been running track ever since the 3rd grade. It's literally been who I am all my life. And even though I am not running right now, it will always be who I am. So I started the 3rd grade. I've been running for so many years. And of course, I ran elementary, I ran in middle school, ran in high school. And in high school, you know, I really got serious about running, and my priority was to go to college, to run as well. And you know, I was on varsity when I was a freshman, and it was hard because where I went to school, it was hard because I had to do a lot to get to run for university. You know, it's not easy. They want certain times. You have to get yourself out there. You have to promote yourself. And you know, even though I've been running all my life, I've been trying to become a better runner by the year. So my main priority in high school was to become a better runner so I could get faster and get noticed by college. So in high school, I've worked with 4 people all through high school to help me train, basically. So I had two coaches, 2 trainers. So I had my high school coach, my coach outside of school, and then I had 2 trainers. The trainers, though, I had at different times. But throughout my whole high school career, I had, basically, you can say, 4 coaches. So I worked with a lot of people in high school, and when I tell you I worked my butt off, I worked so hard. And if you know me personally, you know that I'm very hard on myself. I don't blame anyone but myself, because at the end of the day, you know, it's you. You're responsible for your actions, X, Y, and Z. So there's that. So to make a long story short, by the grace of God, I got in. I sent my highlights to colleges, and my main college that I wanted to go to was the University of Houston. By the grace of God, I got onto the University of Houston track team. And when I tell you, I was crying. I I was so happy because it was hard. I mean, I was fast, and with my test scores, I didn't think I was, you still had to get in with your test scores no matter if you're athlete, whatever. It was a lot going on senior year, and I was very scared. I was not even going to even get in the college that I wanted, let alone the track team. So there's that. But I got in to the University of Houston, and I got into the University of Houston track team. So this is all in 2016. So yeah, moved to Houston. I'm normally in Dallas, so it's not too far. And it all began in September, of course. So as the time went on, things got hard. I wasn't expecting any of this. It was a challenge. As most student athletes know, it's not easy. It's a lot of work. And for some reason, I don't know, I just wasn't expecting how challenging it was for me. There was the 5 a.m. workouts, the weight room, the workout after the weight room, all over. I would literally, wake up at 5 in the morning, do a workout, come back hours later, do another. It was a lot. And on top of that, you have school. So it's all about balance. But what was hard for me was that it was physically and mentally draining for me. And since I've ran all of my life, I've been pushed, but I have not been pushed as hard as I was pushed running in college. And it was exhausting. It was draining. And it was so tiring that I would literally come home after practice and you wouldn't even see me to the next day, because I would just sleep. I would literally sleep. I was out of there. I couldn't, there was nothing else I could do. So that being said, since I was physically and mentally exhausted, the last thing on my mind was school. I couldn't even process it. I was so exhausted to go to class. I was too exhausted to do my work. It was a lot. Now, yes, of course, we get provided tutors, which I had tutors. We had all the needs for to help you have better grades and perform well in school. And I took advantage of that. I did, but it wasn't enough for me. It was a hard balance for me. So it got really bad, and also it affected my schoolwork, it affected my school performance. So that was one thing. And the other thing is that, my teammates, when I was running back home, all, elementary to high school, I was very fast, meaning that I didn't have that much of a competition. I'm not trying to sound cocky, but the area that I was in, I wasn't exposed to a lot of competitors. As it went on with high school, working outside of my school with, different districts, different regions, I've had more competition, of course. but just being in my hometown, I didn't have a lot of competition. So I was used to winning. Let's just say that. So going into this, working with my teammates, and also, but you know, your teammates, but you can see the different abilities with your teammates. So my teammates were great teammates. They were fast. And I wasn't, to make a long story short, they were competition for me. So I was getting discouraged in a way, but I tried not to. I tried to, you know, good competition is the best competition. They pushed me to be harder. But in the back of my head, I was still very hard on myself. Like, I gotta be better than them. I gotta be faster than them. So, you know, every time I would have practice, I would try my hardest. I would listen to my coach. I would do X, Y, and Z. I would ask questions. I would try to do the task perfectly. I would try to run my times. All this going on. And I would be, for one, physically exhausted. Two, mentally exhausted. I couldn't keep up. I was like beating myself up, pretty much. It was hard. So it came to a point where I was falling apart. And you know, with me being completely just exhausted, I had no motivation. I kind of gave up physically and mentally. I felt like I couldn't take it anymore, especially since my school was being affected as well. I was being affected on the track and in school. I feel like I was failing. And I would just call my mom, and I would just bawl. I would just cry. And just, you know, I told her I don't know what to do. You know, I felt like I was defeated. I love track. It's part of who I am, and I felt like I wasn't doing that. And then I'm also a student, and I wasn't doing that. And it was affecting my schoolwork to where I almost was about to be in big trouble. Like, it was seriously down to that point. So I talked to my mom. I talked to God, and I prayed, and it came down to the decision if, you know, I keep this going, where would that lead to, or I just walk away from all of this. And it was the hardest decision that I've ever had to make. I literally was I was at a breaking point, and I couldn't take it anymore. And I just made the decision to walk away from it all, to just stop running and just become a full-time student. And it was a very hard decision, but I knew in the back of my head what I was doing was right. And I cried. It was very hard. You know, I had to tell my family, and so it was a lot. But at the end of the day, I made the right decision, and I'm glad I made that decision because it changed who I am today. Even though I'm not running, I still run. I still work out. I'm still active. I still have my speed. I still have my talent. But making that decision has changed me tremendously. For one, I'm doing amazing in my classes. I made the dean's list, actually, I think it was a year after that or 2 years after that. So academically, I got way better. And it was very hard because I had to, at that time, my grades were horrible. So I had, and in college, if anyone knows, in college, it's very hard to come from the bottom to the top. It takes time. So that was my freshman year. But I did what it took to get better grades and get a higher GPA and so on and so on. So now my grades are great. What I also learned from, walking away from the situation was that I learned how to speak up for myself and also stand up for myself. I learned how to be brave, and I learned how to let go. I learned how to give myself a break. I've been hard on myself with track and everything, and I really learned how to just walk away and just let it be, I guess you can say. I learned not to be hard on myself. I learned that, we all make mistakes. We're not perfect. We want to be the best we can, but not to knock ourselves down while that's happening. Progress takes time. So I learned how to give myself a break. And I also learned how to open up more. I learned how to open up. I learned how to trust, but also, be careful with who I trust. I learned how to be more social and open myself up to people. So I build relationships after that. In high school, I was closed off. I would try not to be approachable. Why, I don't know. I don't know if that was just a protective mode, but to make a long story short, I learned how to open up. I learned how to speak to people. I learned how to build relationships, and it taught me how to communicate better. And everyone needs to learn how to communicate better. That makes you a better person, it makes you a better worker, and so on. And also, I experienced new things. Since I learned to have fun, I learned to do stuff that I never thought I would do. I had time on my hands, which at first I didn't know how to deal with that. I was so used to school, practice, wake up at this time, wake up at that time, blah, 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 blah. It changed, of course, when I stopped. I did have school, but I was so used to that cycle. So I had to get used to that. So since I had all that time, I had to do things to fill my time. So, of course I studied, and then with building new relationships, I've done new stuff with the people that I made relationships with, and I explored Houston more. I just did things that I never thought I would have done. For instance, I ran a 5K. When was that? It was a few months ago. It was this year, I think. Yeah, it was this year. I want to say it was February. I really don't remember. I ran a 5K. Never in my life would I thought I would have run a 5K, especially being a runner. You're like, I'm not going to do extra running, but I did. And, it was amazing. I learned to open up, and I also learned to be, I would say I've always been confident, but I'm even more confident in myself. I believe in myself, so there's that. Also, I honestly give appreciation to my former teammates. To wake up every day and become a better person on the track and in the classroom is truly admirable. Like, because it's not easy, and for them to keep that going, like, that's amazing that they're doing that. And you know, it's being a student athlete, it's very challenging. It will test you every day, mentally, physically. It will test you. And so the main thing with that is, being a student athlete, the question that you need to ask yourself is, how bad do you want it? You know, being a track runner, I thought about my future. Well, with high school and college, now college, when I started running for college, what's next? Am I fast enough to go to the Olympics? Am I going to be a professional track runner? Most people know you have to be outstanding to be a professional track runner. And you know, it messed me up, because I'm like, if I can't even beat my teammates, how can I beat my competitors? How can I go on to the next level? Am I actually really going to be a professional runner? I had to be realistic with myself. It's not like tennis or football or basketball. Track is an amazing, challenging sport. But unfortunately, the professional side is not that easy, and it's not that huge, unfortunately. You can still get big, of course, sponsorships, endorsements, etc. But I was being realistic with myself, and I was like, I don't see myself in the next 10 years being a track runner. I just don't. But you know, it's still part of who I am. And I think about track all the time. I miss being on the track. I miss the crowd. I miss my teammates. I miss winning. I miss that adrenaline that I had. It pushed me. It pushed me to be a better person. It pushed me to have courage, to be confident in myself, and to feel like something. It was almost like an escape for me. So, you know, it will always be who I am. But my advice to anyone that wants to be a student athlete is, be brave. Be strong, be better, and be inspiring, because it's not easy. You do it a lot. It's a huge load, and I give anyone kudos to it, because it's not for everyone. You know, it's really not. But if you push yourself, if you believe, if you have a close support team, you're good. You know, just do what you can. Ooh, I did not expect that. But so that's basically it. That's basically my story. I just wanted to share it, and I hope you guys like this video. And yeah, I hope you guys liked it. If you can relate, I would love to hear your story or your thoughts or your opinions. So if you guys could put that in the comments, that would be awesome. And yeah, so I will be back in the next few days or a week with a new video. Actually, I will be posting on Thursday. Well, I'm going to start posting on Mondays and Thursdays, so definitely look out for my next video, and I'll see you guys next time.